Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It's a lovely Monday and it's time for more Ace Attorney. As you might recall from last time, we have a new client. It's Lord Von Zieks. I love him so much. he's just fun. Anyway, yeah, nothing. I don't really have too much to lead us off into this. Besides, sorry, I'm like 13 minutes late. I was busy reading the Reincarnated as a Sword manga, and I'm caught up now. Chapter 69 was the last one, and Fran and the Sword are going to enter a cooking contest where they're going to make curry buns. Very thrilling stuff. Nah, it's just, Fran is adorable. So really sad to be out of chapters to read, but happy that I'm caught up. Anyway, so we did the investigation, all that business, and we're on to the first part of the trial. So I'm curious what Ryunosuke and Zieks are going to talk about at all, if they are going to talk before they get called in by the bailiff, because normally we do. So it's should be interesting. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. It is so weird to have him on screen and not have the intense music playing. A little more courtesy. Excuse me. Gosh. One second. I need water. One moment, please. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my. I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected. A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. A closed court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree. It's back to normal. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem is to another a day of drinking dubious potions after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. Wait, how did he pay rent yesterday? And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagement with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the brick roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor, and that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer there's a very great mind, my own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's Ginny. I thought it was the bailiff. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. No, it's not. What is that? Is she like a member of the jury or something? Father! Shouldn't you be at the symposium? Actually, wait a minute. Hold the phone here. It's awfully similar to ours, isn't it? Oh, come on, show me Gina again. I need to see the band. It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Oh, she's an inspector now? Wait, no, she's been an inspector. Wait, has she been? She was a trainee. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Oh, she's doing the part that that he normally does. She's gonna like accuse, or not accuse, but you know, like read the, like be called on all that business. One moment, please. I have a friend asking me a very important question. Do people like this look and why? The muffin top on the socks. You mean skin dentation? My fellow. There's a tag for it. Of course people like it. How would you not enjoy that? I'm just gonna go, yeah, there's 89k tags on the bureau for it. So yes, people love it. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to streaming now. Okay. Odo. Oh, yes, Gina. Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it wasn't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. Okay, I'll call him what? The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him who killed the boss, help him. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, let me read that again. I don't think I understood that right. If it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help. Oh, okay, sorry. I got confused. I thought I misread this as like her saying that it wasn't him being killed. Okay, sorry. That was very confusing. Fiery eyes, indeed. Yes. The culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Oh, Gina. Please, Odo. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you've called a fine who done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way to the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruto. Lord Ron Zieks. Boop, 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 boop. One who lost. Oh god, the yawn. Excuse me. God, this doesn't bode well, does it? We're not even 10 minutes into the stream and I'm already yawning. Oh. Okay. Sorry about that. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all those dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Indeed. Excuse me.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant, Burke von Zieks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Cosmos, I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions to the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present. By Her Majesty's direct orders.
Is Holmes here, though? How will that work, my lord?
The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' bench shall remain vacant today.
If no member of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Members of the judiciary? Oh my. This is a very unusual trial already. I guess it's a symposium.
There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsel for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And I stand here in this court now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Cosma.
Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asoki, your opening statement if you please.
Certainly, my lord. Whoa, that is a long ass... Okay. The incident took place on 1st November, just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building on flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known well indeed to this court. Or at least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is point-blank range.
I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel.
Okay. Alright, I want to look at that real quick if you don't mind. Wait. Just time of death. There's nothing there. Cause of death. Victim was shot in the chest at closing of the front, resulting in his death. Scorch mark, but bullet exited the body from behind. The caliber of the gun used matched that of a standard issue firearms from members of the judiciary. Okay. It's interesting that the bullet exited the body from behind and we had those candlesticks. They're messed up. It's also interesting to me that the time of death doesn't have anything. Also, who is Maria Gorey? Maria Gorey? How would it... Wasn't this kind of high up, though? Alright. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Cosmosima, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There's a candelabra mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right.
Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord. We're probably going to have to point something off of this at some point. Sorry, I'm enjoying this.
Is this Fresno Street Room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
Oh, hi. Can you speak in a high-pitched girly voice for the chick? I can try. I normally... I mean, you can see the voice that I give her normally. No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Bone. Huge bones. But there's a precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Okay, my normal Susada voice is this. Presumably he was investigating some case or other. Like that. You want it to be extra high? Is that what you're trying to say? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. Like that? Is that what you want? I don't know if I can go high. I don't know if I can go higher than that. My voice doesn't do that. It goes deeper, typically. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
So, the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
A name, please, Counsel.
Naturally. The accused himself. Lord von Zieks! As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth.
Very well. Let the defendant take the witness to stand.
There he is, my homeboy, Van Zieks. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baroque von Zieks, Old Bailey prosecutor.
I presume, Lord von Zieks, that you heard Prosecutor Asogi's opening process?
I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth.
I must say, Lord von Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony then, witness.
God, I love Van Zieks' theme. He's so cool. I want to cosplay him at like a con or something. He's so cool.
I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered that room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open. I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
That testimony was the whole truth?
It was.
So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. Hi, Davkin.
I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed.
Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. What's got into Cosma? Not behaving like himself at all. Seriously, what is wrong with Cosma anyway? Like, I know he's out for revenge, basically, but he is being a douche.
Very well done. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Alright, let's start pressing Van Zieks. You were investigating the inspector. What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Sorry?
I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in the case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand that on the day in the question, you followed the victim to the scene? No. I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry.
You illegally entered the man's office.
In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Von Zieks? I was aware of the possible consequences.
So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? Because he's awesome. Come on, look at him.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learnt of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything.
But at 5 p.m., the sun would only have just gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside.
Sorry, from outside. Did I say outside or inside?
I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor.
There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure?
I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor.
So, who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
But you say it was very dark in there.
Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence.
Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room?
No, that's out of the question.
Oh.
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
This is going from bad to worse. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor?
Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder.
But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired?
Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I, too, would dearly like to know that. Just as I picked up the firearm up to... Sorry, I added the up on over there. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. Oh wait, shit, wrong way. Sorry, I need to press.
Must press Van Zieks. A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Who are these merchants?
A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes. Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem.
Wait, they hear a gunshot and run towards it?
Do they have a death wish?
They did. It almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled.
A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred.
Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just before?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more.
I see.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Baruch von Zieks, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean? Oh, look at this. We got a new theme. Do you hear that? Hold on, we got to turn this shit up. This is good shit. Prosecutor Asogi's theme, I suppose. Oh, what is that supposed to mean?
Good gracious, counsel.
Oh, sorry, it's Cosmo talking, isn't it? The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark.
That's correct.
No, that's impossible. As proven by the candelabrum. Candelabrum? How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle.
The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together. Which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now, to the next lie. There's more. The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before.
That's the truth.
In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right, we saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there's a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Indeed. What is this common thread, counsel?
They all related to cases prosecuted in court by Baruch von Zieks. All of them. And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good lord!
Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today. Because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Oh, no. In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine. By the Reaper's hand. What? Splat. Alright, that's some good bullshittery, sir.
Order! Order! Order, I say, to my giant empty room.
Okay, to be fair, there's a judiciary, I suppose, in the galley, but still.
Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Baruch von Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts.
All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Cosmo's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawn on his expertise. He's drawn on his experience as a defense lawyer to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable.
Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord. And now the prosecution would like to call a new witness to the stand. Oh, we're not slowing down, huh? Alright, hold on. Do I get to examine any of this? There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent things appear to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh. It's the same red-headed leak advertisement that Mr. Shelms had picked out. And do you remember? There's a red hair piece at the scene too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the red-headed leak then? No. What's this? A handprint! Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh, yes. It's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. And the colour. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear. How disturbing. But whose handprint? Whomst has placed a handprint on it? Oh, that's a lot of pins. Sorry, I don't know why, but the way the pins looked like caught my eye as I rotated this thing. Okay, sorry. Easily distracted. So the door is here. The close range bullet happened here. Was this candelabrum really that short that it could have been hit? Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room.
Very well. Lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord. Okay, I love Van Zieks' theme, but Asogi's theme is good too. Also, holy crap. Hey, it's that dude! Wait, is the poor guy selling stuff isn't he the cart man from the very first case? The taxi driver man. So, witnesses. State your names and occupations for the court. Names? We don't use names, far too fancy for the likes of us. What is wrong with his lip? Well, it's free and easy. So we like, live where we want to live. Oh, are these gypsies? Oh, they're probably gypsies. I give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno and spin a few words into a verse for them.
Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street?
Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passerbys, you know?
Jaunty little tidbits.
Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your ginnel it is. 6 pence is the price, not a penny less.
Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now?
Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested.
Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is.
Pay the man, counsel.
Oh, alright, 6 pence it is.
You won't regret it, sir. Now you got your listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple on Side Street have just had twins.
The fact that there's no music and his eyes just going crazy like that. Is that it? No, that's not it. It's gossip in it. It wants to be spread. But that's a bit up to you and your mouth, of course.
I got more, you know. One of the juicy one.
6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes.
But what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours? Name that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. She just lit that off her ass. 6 pence a pop. What do you say? Wait, per pop? Because that's expensive. You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that they get 100. They could blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Want a pop with 6 pence or a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman, counsel.
Oh, alright, I'll buy one. Lovely stuff. Right then, this is only a bit extra just for you. The Venus Special, only 600 pence. 600? It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is it? And there'd be nothing left about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either.
What? Wait, what do you mean it's entered in the court record?
Oh. Oh. He didn't hear a gunshot. He heard a firecracker. Huh. And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell?
I must think of me. Think all sorts of problems. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street or watching the world going about me, they call me the observator.
I don't know why I couldn't talk right there.
Yeah, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it.
So, you don't actually sell anything?
A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it.
Hot, actual... What is it? What does that bottom part say? I can't make this go down, unfortunately. Actual hero?
Pity. No more purchases today, please. Well, we're quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witnessed the crime. Well, I'll be beggared, I thought, just between us. Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
What I think is if all we see is light and shadow playing with our eyes, is any of it real?
Are you... This man would love Twitter. Sandwich would love Twitter. He'd be on there posting his thoughts day and night. Like, what's Will Smith's son's name again? Jaden? When he used to post about, like, blue trees or whatever bullshit he was smoking.
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
Holy lip. He looks like he got choked out or something. We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
It seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Of course, I couldn't wait to go and see what had happened.
I ran into the room, then there I was. The Reaper gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death me, so I ran off to find a copper. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Baruch von Zieks.
I've seen pictures of that repo in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like these. Made myself a tidy sum already.
But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Bone.
The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No! Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony, somehow.
You can do it, Ryunosuke. I believe!
I don't think they did.
At least I have my answer now, though, about, like, why they would run towards the gunshot. Because they're gossip mongers. Or at least we know why he would. The other two, not so much. Alright then.
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord von Zieks?
I suppose so. Likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain.
Just behind Inspector Gregson? Did they arrive at the same time as each other?
No, not at all. The first fellow must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot.
The victim arrived 15 minutes before. Are you sure about that?
My sure. Does it seem likely that I've forgotten a fellow with bright red hair like that, does it?
Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even.
That fiery red mop still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is.
Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead?
Weren't you listening, John? Oh, he was a redhead. He had a big trunk with him as well.
But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party.
No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct.
What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. And a red hairpiece. Oh, of course. We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though.
I forget. I saw something at the bottom, right? Yeah, just like that bit. Okay.
So then, why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
His body appears to be tightly curled up. Alright.
And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying?
I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene.
So it just disappeared. Huh. You expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. Sorry, just want to take a look. Okay, so he shot on the ground. There's blood. His hairpiece is falling off. Why is he in the fetal position? Was he in the trunk that they're talking about? I mean, that would make sense. Maybe a guy came in wearing a red wig and he had a big trunk and Gregson was inside and deposited Gregson out from the trunk and then dropped his hairpiece on him to frame him? Or to like make it look like he had been doing that or something? Wouldn't explain the blood though.
Hold it!
By which presumably you mean the gunshot. I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building. That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang, it went. Just like that.
Well, he's a Reaper, isn't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it?
I think you get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he had discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crime. Okay, but why? Why would he, the Reaper, have a picture of this lovely lady?
Yes. Certainly an eminently credible motive.
Great. And at that point, you ran inside. Is that correct?
Hold it!
So, when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too?
Well, yeah, but hampered, see? All the signs of that I can't move very well.
You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. Ooh, what a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before?
I'm not anybody, me. The signs what made me who I am now. I signed, therefore I am.
So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago, then? I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot.
Turn down King Henry Street and the Black Widow's arm is just there.
Oh, dear. You made him hide behind his sign. Life is full of surprises. I ran into the room and there he was.
Hold it!
So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene. Is that right?
That I was? Kicked the door open wide like a professional, I did, and yelled out, "What's going on here?"
Lord Zieks claims all he heard was a man scream, though. And was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Really?
And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us. It's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
Huh, I see. Even though Lord Zieks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
The next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body.
The accused, Berg von Zieks.
That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself.
I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily of a coward.
I stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Yes?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich?
There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head where I am. Just 2 slices with no middle. So, I don't know what you could want with me.
I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gospel's last statement, I mean.
Well, I think it's all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else. But at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers.
That's not enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your truck shop now. Unless you want us to make you a real sandwich.
But he saw the Reaper. He fell clean over on his backside.
That's it.
Oh, you rotten beggar. Told you to keep that a secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all 4s. That's what I wanted to say.
Mr. Gossip, is this true?
The floor was dead slippery, that's why. I planted my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck.
Oh? Is that how the handprint got there?
A pool of blood. But listen here, even when I was sprawled on the floor, still got giving that Reaper a cold hard stare. Don't you forget it.
Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand?
Did I? Happens the best for the times, doesn't it? I was all scared, so I slipped over. We can just keep it between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
I wiped it off the floor. You wiped the blood off on the floor. I don't think you did. I think you wiped it off on the backside of something. Where was the board situated, though?
Hold it!
Let's keep pressing along. You wiped your hand on the floor.
Well, it wasn't blood on his hand, right? Horrible stuff. They might have thought I'd done it. No ta.
And you didn't think that might be a problem?
Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They were cleaned up in the end, won't they?
Don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us.
Is something wrong, Consul?
No, my lord. I don't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all.
Don't come with all that. Can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off on the floor. The blood.
I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo? I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. I was scared half to death, me, so I ran out to find a copper.
Hold it!
So you didn't run into the room with your friends? I'm not that sort of girl. Sorry? I'm a timid little thing, me. I was too scared to go in there. Oh, right. I see. Oh, Lippy and Witch ran in there, and then I had a sort of old lady scream.
Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd stake my own on it.
I wondered what on earth was going on. Which is when you went to find a policeman. And I ran into a copper as soon as I turned the corner. So I brought him straight back to the place. Didn't I do well, hey?
Just between us, that copper's eye nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper. I've never felt more uncomfortable in all my life. And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe.
Considering the catalogue of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was a particularly inauspicious end. If I can't find any holes in his testimony, I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, Mr. Naruhodo. The truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning. Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problems with their statements, do there? Still, if Lord Von Zieks really is innocent, then I'm almost certain they will find something in there that doesn't quite add up. You don't think that one of those three could be the true culprit, do you? I don't know. But what I do know is that there's more to this case that is yet to be brought to light. Okay. Let's go to the bloody handprint and present the blood print on the back of the board, because how the hell did that get there?
Objection.
So, you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection.
The police found no such handprint on the floor during the investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting?
Objection.
If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. Yeah, eat shit, Kazuma. Certainly there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board.
Oh, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. You're dead right. That's my right hand. I know it anywhere.
Objection.
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection.
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim, and in an upright position. Even if it had somehow been toppled, it was lying on the floor at the time. Oh, this corner. That's not the opposite corner. This is the opposite corner. Anyway, open a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body, so it was basically right next to the corpse. Not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account, the handprint found in the scene.
Excuse me, I don't know why I'm yawning so much today. I have, my lord. Naruhodo may have, but I haven't. Okay. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by, let's see, another handprint, the board moving, or false testimony. Well, I suppose they could have moved the board. Maybe Gregson was behind the board. And that's why to Von Zieks it seemed like he had just appeared. Because the board fell over and Gregson's body was behind it? Maybe? I feel like I'm trying to cast doubt on the testimonies themselves, in which case we could claim it's false testimony. Can I go back that far? No, I can't. Ah, shoot. There must be a reason. It could be a different handprint I wonder if we could get fingerprints checked. Could it be Gregson's handprint itself? I mean, his hand is in the blood. That wouldn't make sense though, would it? Location of the handprint is explained by the board moving? Is it on wheels? No, it's not. It's just normal. It's pretty big. But why would there be a hand? If it... Okay, let's think about this. If the board was moved... Well, no, because... It wouldn't make sense. Why would they move the board? To hide the... They could have moved the board to hide the print, but why not just wash the print away? I kind of want to go with false testimony. But what exactly is the testimony we're going with here? That he got his hand dirty with blood after killing someone and then wiped it off on the back of a board and moved it? That's kind of stupid, you know? Like, why would you wipe it off on a board like that? Another handprint would make it seem like there's, like, the real killer left it, or maybe Gregson left it during the attack on him. That wasn't done by the Reaper, I guess. Gonna go with false testimony for now. The witness claims to have the witness claims to have wiped his bloody hand on the floor. If there's no signs of that at the crime scene, the simplest explanation is that the witness is lying.
Objection.
Just because it's the simplest explanation doesn't make it the correct one. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Huh. Positing perjury simply because it suits you. You bring shame on your Japanese heritage. Okay.
I would ask you not to turn oversimplifying matters again.
Ask you not to... I don't remember fostering that kind of simplistic thinking in you. Since when were you my father? Anyway, I was always taught to consider all possibilities. Then show me. There should be a bloody handprint on the floor. So where did it go? I'm ready to go to the proper explanation of the court now, my lord. Oh, okay. Hang here. Let's get our health back real quick. So it's not false testimony. It's explained by another handprint. Do I have another handprint? Can't examine this. We know this has a key. This doesn't have a handprint on it. Although, why is it lookable again? I think I already saw this before, right? Wait, is this new? I was told that for the past 5 years I've been given with a unique serial number. As far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that. Oh, well, that's not good for us. Because we know that his gun was issued long ago. 10 years ago, actually. Okay. Tintinabulum. Sports. What would moving this do? But, I mean, like, it would block the body. It would block the body and the light. If it blocked the body and the light... And, okay, so Zieks walks in, right? The board is over here, blocking the light and the body. Zieks walks in here, yada yada. He hears a bang, which is the firecrackers. And then the kid with the bloody hand moves this thing. And somehow they fucking escape without anyone noticing. But then Gregson sees the body, so he rushes over to it. And then they leave? Is that what happens? The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down.
Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the fingerprint should be pointing upwards.
Huh. What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor, as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What? Whoa, that guy's a lot taller than I expected. You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet. But the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point.
And that would be?
The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord.
So, counsel, I ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, why do you maintain the notice board was situated? I nearly just said motherboard.
Can you tell I've been looking at PC Parts Picker recently? I mean, I think it was here. Like, it must have been, right? To be in the blood.
Take that!
This is the only possible location?
Immediately adjacent to the doorway.
If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body.
Why, yak!
If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words,
just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
I don't know about calling it a scream, but we was talking about me and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor pan, consider what would have happened if the door to the room Consider what would have happened if the door to the room was thrown open with force. Oh, smart. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious.
My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Ugh.
Order. Order. Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
Oh, him slamming his gavel just reminded me about a website that my coworker shared with me the other day. Did you know that there is a website called, wait for it, hold on, I'll show you. gavelsfast.com, where you can buy gavels. Look at this. $23 for a gavel. Or you can get a set. Look at this. Look at this beautiful rosewood. Or desk stands for your gavel. Yes, the plaques. And a sound block to go pop, pop, pop. And you can get them personalized. How phenomenal is that? There's a lot of rosewood. There's lots of oak on the website. I wonder if perhaps there is some mahogany. Because truly, that would be something else. Be amazing. But yeah, you can get these things engraved. Or you can even get one made out of brass. Look at this shit. Look at that. Get that sweet 8-inch brass gavel. Isn't that amazing that there's a website called Gavels Fast? Like, do you think there's some need on courtrooms where they like break gavels so often that they have to like rush order the things? The world is a fascinating place. After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues sought when investigating the room.
Witness, what have you to say for yourself?
Oh, me, my lord. You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
Stop looking over your glasses at me. I'll get the message. I don't know anything about them notice board. I just wipe my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business some second years at the time.
I don't know anything about anything. Just a bystander, me, just inside the crossroads of life.
Who is that reaper? I bet got a face that screamed bored.
I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. Don't pay to expect too much.
My man's and his quest for knowledge that they're destroying the world. That's what I think.
Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Barak von Zieks. None of this wrangling of the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so. Quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances?
Most certainly, my lord.
Very well. Let me proceed, counsel.
Okay. I will do my best. Alright. Give me a second. I need liquids. So 1 moment. I will say, it is a little bit strange when you're so used... Sorry about the crunchy noises, by the way. It is really weird getting used to having in-ear audio mic-ness and whatnot, so you can hear yourself despite the fact that you have your headset on. And then to mute myself with this headset, I had to put the mic up, and it mutes that and also mutes the in-ear, obviously. So then I can't hear myself anymore. So then, like, my contented sigh as I drank some water, just like, ah, kind of thing, was way quieter than I expected. Sorry. Anyway, I'm blathering about nothing because I mainly just like to see this man scream. It's a funny face he's making. Let's press him.
Hold it!
See if he can make any other faces. So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on?
Admit it? What was to admit? The plain as day for all to see. Smash and print my right hand.
Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint. So you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you?
No, imagine the weight of that great lump. You look like a powerful and well-nurtured man.
Or did you see anybody else moving the board?
I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you. But even I am at limits. There was a board in the floor in front of me and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. There was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definite position. Brain, please. This witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point.
Yes, so it would seem.
You don't look at me. I've got a clue about it. So business I'm sucking at the time.
Hold it!
I really enjoy the fact that she lights matches off of her ass. Like, how does that work exactly? Like, I know, like, I've seen people do it off of shoes, right? That's not that unusual. But your butt? Like, what is her dress made out of? When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos got a plan to blow their school to Kingdom Come. So I've been telling on them, letting the teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. Inside the school where the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come right back to buy me more. Everyone's happy, see? What a racket. Of course. And sometimes they just give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life, selling explosives. You don't say.
Venus is a powerful goddess indeed.
Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. Ever so good at it. Oh, you know.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich.
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus's statements just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts.
Man, getting 2 screenshots back to back, huh? So this is a good trial so far.
Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, I'm ever so good at it. Will those words of hers be a lie too? Or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady.
So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshots seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up on the stairs behind him too. That's right, that wrong lie over there.
Tiki explosives.
Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
How are you doing that? What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps. I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah. Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
Well, shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurous act later. For the time being, you immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord, of course. Why lie about it in the first place, though? Tell me about why you did that. You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. Alright. But you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please. As if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Well, alright. Just a bit, then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know? Did you touch anything at the scene? Oh, please. As if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit, then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over. There's nothing right home about. Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? Oh, please. As if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had. The truth, please. Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing. You're telling us that you did move that board? Oh, I think that did slip out, didn't it? Oh, you daft bombpot!
Oh, I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something you might have taken, perhaps, to sell? Oh, please. I should be so lucky. The truth now! I might have found this old pocket watch on the notice board, I suppose. Bit of a junk like this can't be worth much, if you ask. So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it. Gina?
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch. That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The Professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wander up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. I see. I swapped it off him once, and blimey was he upset. Gave me a right earful. So he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. Possibly not the best thing to go diving for, then. It's not all that, though. I took it to Jabel's that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Not right and worth, as he called it. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have lifted it. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough. And the watch over to the bailiff forthwith.
Now, children, watch your manners.
Good Lord. The glass appears to be broken.
More than likely it shattered when the inspector was shot. Doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it put away, stay.
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5.
Okay, that's important. Exactly when the gunshot was heard, then. Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
What if it was 5 in the morning?
Well, it would appear that the mystery of the movie notice board has been solved at last.
Has it, though?
Oh.
That's what the little police guy's for. It's for winding the watch, right?
Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole here. Can you see? Oh, yeah, that's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism. It looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes, you need just the right key to wind it, I imagine. Why do I feel as though I've seen something... something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole? It'd be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully what we've already found.
Yes, indeed.
There's a tiny little stub sticking out of a small hole here, look. I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that setting for the time. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch, it probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? Yes, of course. Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. At the scene of the crime, or perhaps at the scene of a different place where that crime actually took place? Glass of the face really is badly cracked, look. What a shame the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Shums could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like this. Useful man to have around, in fact. But can you remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruto, not an odd-job man? Where is the little guy? Yeah. Do the twisty bit, please.
Yep, here it is.
What is it for?
Uh-huh. It's the winder. Where did we find this again?
Mr. Sutter, do you perhaps think this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch? Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose.
Are we fucking with evidence, though, by doing this?
Oh, I knew it. A perfect fit. And look, the inspector's watch has started going again.
Oh, so it's obviously just not been wound up, that's all.
Wait.
Then he's been... Okay, if he winds it once a day at dinner, and it stopped at 5, then what?
When does he eat dinner? What is it, Mr. Sato? Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could be profound implications. She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking deeply too. Okay, so he winds it every day. And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case.
Oh then, continue your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Alright, well, we'll keep pressing until we can figure out where the watch fits in here. But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you?
There's no street in my whole road, it's all I know. I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high.
So you did go to see what had happened?
It's not the destination that's important, it's how you get there, isn't it?
Did you notice the notice board in the room?
If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family. So I've spotted it, I might have tried to trip it out of the sense of rivalry, I admit.
Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo sinians. That's so bad. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board?
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Yeah, that's your life.
Sorry, excuse me.
In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board?
Well, people, I bet. It's got a face that screams bored. What exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you've not noticed. So he hates everything in the world, that fella.
But not notice boards are the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. I can't say I've ever noticed. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second. Sorry? Well, I was that scared, I couldn't. Never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do you? If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Aye, that I can't. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. Couldn't have missed it if he teed the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner. Right. Glad we cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, customer. Ah, see right here is probably when we probably present the clock, because the time of death is unknown. He was probably killed the day before.
Hold it!
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it?
Maybe the notice board fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed. That gunshot we all heard. Is your fate sealed too?
My fate? That's right. The defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if we could just find some problem with that part of their story, it may be possible to change all of our fates.
Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it?
Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Cosmo is right and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view, so I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I've no doubt that there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track. I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then. Okay. I'm going for it here. Detective died when we heard that gunshot.
Objection!
I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case.
Oh.
At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key. And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What?
Order! Order! But counsel! The watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we heard that gunshot.
It is. Exactly the hour.
The time that was shown on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed. No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used to wind up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years. Portion of winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Oh, aye.
Oh, how do you explain it then? In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean. What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead.
Order! Order! Counsel, that is the most extraordinary claim.
Objection.
Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? Well, on that subject, there's something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted. That's right. What a man, you're forgetting that my legs went out from under me when I kicked the door in. What do you mean? Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood. Yes. So the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh. He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection.
But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body after he... Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner? Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So, then a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Objection.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. Is it, though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realm of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh, please, what are you trying to say?
Well, it's not know what we heard.
It was a loud bang that came from there in that room.
No, you listen to me. A street seller's ears are his livelihood.
I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Explain yourself then, Counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with...
Take that.
Well, the culprit could have used something like this, for example.
Oh, really? A demonstration is in order then, I feel.
Yes, please. Show the court how you could use that to create a noise like a gunshot.
We're waiting, Counsel.
I may have been mistaken. It looks like you've been making a lot of noise yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. Wait, what? Huh? Cosmo got a devastating word with words in English, too. Wait, what? Did I present the wrong thing? Venus Fact. What? I realize it may be difficult to retract what you said and present some different evidence, but perhaps... Yes, I was thinking the same thing myself. What? I'm sorry, what? The gun? I mean, that literally is a gunshot. Could Von Zieks have fired at someone? I'm very confused. That's... I don't understand. Whoa. It's this. Come on, like you light this. Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruto? You're standing at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's called the Venus Special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom. Oh, all right. That was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruto. Sounded almost exactly like... Okay, thank you. That's so dumb. I shouldn't have... Let me guess, now it works, right? I shouldn't have to do that. Just saying. Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious. The very fireworks that was sold by the witness.
Now, hold on, Matt. Are you saying I did it? My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See? Not 100 of them together. The Venus Special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene. I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for those peddlers on Fresno Street to hear. But even the accused himself had testified that he saw no one else in the room at that time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Brock Von Zieks. One whiff of a match, my firecrackers will pop. See? That's why people like them. Could they have used the candles? Somehow?
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Recently during my time here in Britain, I've learnt of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb.
Good heavens, a bomb!
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like. Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead yet to another international incident. No, wait. It's the whenever you like part that's important. A time device. Yes, exactly. A time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left. That would make sense.
Your extravagant claim would have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in a way that a time device was employed to create the gunshot sound?
I'm thinking the candles, right? Right? Like the candles burn down to a certain amount and then that lights the fuse. I'm going to save, but that's the only thing that makes sense. Because the only other thing I can think of that they would use is the watch, but it's not like the watch can light something while a candle would be able to do so.
Take that!
As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candle room has been blown off.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim.
I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible? Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle. There are...
Oh goodness, yes! But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, Scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun.
Oh,
Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks?
oh, can that be, eh?
The fact that there's still such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the firecracker to point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the fireworks, generating a loud bang. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they'd heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
Well, what a plot.
So that means that Gregson probably didn't write 5 o'clock into his little journal for the day as well then, right? That was probably done by the killer. If they wanted to frame the Reaper? How would they know that the Reaper was going to look, though? Is this going to be Strongheart? I'm trying to think of who would have access to the detective's like office or desk or those kinds of things, and who might want to do that. And Strongheart comes to mind just because, you know, he might still be bitter about Dr. Scythe getting put away, and how the Reaper, like, you know, or Van Zieks rather, like pursued the case and like ignored his orders to call Dr. Scythe to the stand, or to not do it rather, and he did it anyway. So Strongheart doesn't strike me as like the vindictive type in that way. Maybe her daughter? I don't know.
Well, what a plot. This implies that the victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe. The previous day, even.
No, just hold your horses. All those lot saw the victim go into the building, remember?
Oh, I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair even if I wanted to.
The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say?
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Oh, very impressive, Inosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma, I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired.
Order! Order! Prosecutor Asoki! What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today, so we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopped watch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing? And where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard?
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Put it you, my learned friend. I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating. Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court.
What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the victim inspector the day prior to the incident? Blah, 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 blah. My tongue will work eventually, I swear. Okay, so he's investigating the redhead leak. Is this from the day before? The morning of the 31st. We don't have time of death. Well, the evidence would be this, right? The red hair piece. I believe this red hair piece points to the answer. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. The brightly colored hairpiece only served to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
So, you'd already worked it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A deception of what nature, counsel?
They've been targeting red-headed men across old London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord! The defense calls for those 2 men to be submitted at once.
Two redheads.
Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece, so it's very likely they had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events.
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue explored.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us, at least.
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asogi.
At once, my lord.
Very good. Over 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
God, how stressful must it be to be a judge? To be continued. I'm going to save it here and we're going to stop for now. Because I'm yawning and my eyes kind of are dry. Like the kind of dry that your eyes get when you need to sleep. I'm getting that for some reason. I don't really know why. But this is good so far. We're learning things. We're steering the evidence away from being accusatory of our client. So overall, we're doing well here, I think. Excuse me. So yeah, we'll pick this up again on Wednesday. Tomorrow, probably going to be more Remnant. Whether it's solo Remnant or co-op Remnant, I don't know yet. We'll see if any of my friends want to play Remnant with me. Or if not, then I'll keep exploring Yeisha by myself, which honestly is fine by me. Because it's kind of enjoyable to wander that forest alone. But yeah, man, being a judge must be so stressful. Or at least this judge. I mean, I don't know if if cases are decided in single days most of the time, or if they go over multiple days. I know some high profile stuff takes a while, right? But even regular old cases, right? It must be really, really stressful. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this now. You can see Xenia scaling the building. I thought it was quite an amusing little picture, so wanted to share. Anyway, Have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow for some more enjoyment. So, bye for now.